In the days following the debut of Taylor Swift's latest documentary series on Disney+, titled The End of an Era, a wave of online criticism began circulating because of a fleeting moment early in the first episode. And as fans and viewers tuned in to watch the much-anticipated behind-the-scenes look at Swift's recent tour, the controversy arose when, in a scene showing the energetic crowds outside London's Wembley Stadium, a fan in passing mentioned meeting some girls from Israel, a comment that lasted only a few seconds but nevertheless ignited heated discussions across various social media platforms, especially in light of the ongoing conflict involving Israel and Palestine, which many online participants described as a genocide. And within minutes of the premiere, users on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and beyond began dissecting the moment, with some critics asserting that even a brief reference to Israel should have been omitted during the editing process, arguing that its inclusion might be seen as an endorsement or a political gesture, while others argued that the production team failed to recognize the broader implications such a detail could carry, given the sensitivity and polarization surrounding the conflict at that time. And as debates raged, some pointed out that the line's presence, however incidental, could be interpreted by some as a sign of support or solidarity, and thus should not have been left in the final cut, while a different group contended that reading such political meaning into a passing comment was overreaching and unfair. Yet the controversy only grew as more viewers became aware of the moment and began weighing in with their own interpretations and criticisms, leading to threads and posts that both condemned and defended the decision to leave the reference in. And amidst all this, attention turned to Taylor Swift herself, who, as of the time of the initial backlash, had made no public comment on either the scene or the broader crisis in Palestine. And some of her supporters, who had long admired her for taking public stands on issues like LGBTQ+ rights, women's empowerment, and voter participation, expressed disappointment, saying they had hoped she would speak out as she had on previous occasions, while others said her silence was itself a statement, regardless of intent, and argued that celebrities, especially those of Swift's stature, have a responsibility to address global events, and that failing to do so can be interpreted as complicity. Meanwhile, many fans leapt to her defense, insisting that absence of comment should not be taken as an endorsement of any side, and that celebrities are entitled to privacy or to choose which issues they engage with publicly. And these defenders pointed out that Swift had not made any direct statement regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict, and that speculation about her views was just that, speculation. And as the debate showed no signs of slowing, the documentary's production team also remained silent, declining to issue any statements about the editing decisions or the specific inclusion of the scene. And in the days that followed, media outlets began covering the controversy, amplifying both the criticism and the defenses, and recapping the events for broader audiences, thus bringing even more attention to the fleeting moment and the wider debate about celebrity responsibility and the intersection of entertainment, politics, and global crises. As episode 1 continued to stream and gain viewers, the exchange about the girls from Israel became a focal point for online arguments about the role of popular culture in shaping public opinion. And as fans dissected every frame and line, some said the controversy was being blown out of proportion, insisting that not every moment in a documentary carries political weight, but others asserted that, given the scale and visibility of Swift's platform, even seemingly minor details could have broader repercussions. Meanwhile, some viewers expressed sympathy for the fan in the clip, noting that her comment was likely innocent and not intended as a political statement. But critics countered that the editing process should have taken the wider context into account. And so, as the second episode's release approached, anticipation grew not just for the documentary's content, but for any sign that Swift or her team might address the backlash or clarify their intentions. But no such statement came, and instead, discussion continued to swirl online, with some fans organizing hashtags and campaigns demanding accountability, while others urged restraint and understanding. And as the debate persisted, some observers noted that this was not the first time Swift had faced calls to speak out on political events, but that her record was mixed, with her weighing in on some causes while remaining silent on others. And this pattern itself became a subject of debate, with some arguing it was her right to choose, and others insisting that silence in times of crisis, is itself a form of communication. And as the days passed, several think pieces and op-eds appeared in major publications, analyzing the situation from various angles, while online, the original clip continued to circulate, sometimes stripped of its context and sometimes used as a symbol in larger arguments about the role of celebrities in public discourse. And with each new episode's release date approaching, speculation mounted about whether future installments would touch on the controversy or whether Swift might break her silence. And for those who had come to expect her to weigh in on political and social issues, her continued lack of comment was particularly notable, while others said the focus should remain on the music and the documentary itself, not on a brief, incidental remark by a fan. And in the midst of this, Disney Plus issued no comment and continued to promote the series as scheduled. And fans, both supportive and critical, watched the second episode closely for any further references or clarifications, but found none. And so the debate shifted back to the wider question of how much responsibility artists and their teams bear for the content they release, especially when that content reaches millions of viewers around the world. And as the third episode's release date neared, a new wave of commentary emerged, with some social media users expressing exhaustion at the ongoing debate, while others redoubled their calls for clarity and accountability. And some fans began to focus on the positive aspects of the documentary, highlighting the artistry and behind-the-scenes insights, while others insisted that the controversy could not be ignored. And as additional episodes dropped, the initial furor gradually receded from the forefront of online conversation, but never entirely disappeared, as threads, comments, and posts continued to reference the moment and the broader issues it raised. And through it all, Swift maintained her silence, making no public statements on the matter, even as her social media accounts remained active in promoting other aspects of her career. And as the full series became available for streaming, reviews and recaps began to note the controversy as a footnote, but continued to focus primarily on the artistic and personal revelations contained in the documentary. And for many viewers, the incident became a case study in the complexities of celebrity, media, and public expectation in the digital age. And as the weeks passed, the debate continued in various corners of the internet, with some participants moving on and others keeping the discussion alive through ongoing posts and commentary. And as Swift's tour and documentary remained in the spotlight, the question of artist responsibility lingered, shaping not just reactions to the end of an era, but to other works by high-profile musicians and creators. And as new controversies emerged in the world of entertainment and politics, the lessons and debates sparked by this fleeting moment in Swift's documentary continued to echo, reminding many of the enduring power and complexity of media, fandom, and public discourse in shaping how events are understood and remembered. And as the conversation continued, some fans took the opportunity to call for more nuanced and careful engagement with media, urging others to consider context and intent, while critics held fast to their belief that omissions and inclusions, however minor, can have significant consequences. And as the broader conversation about Israel, Palestine, and the responsibilities of artists and creators persisted, Swift's silence remained a focal point for both criticism and defense. And as the end of an era continued to stream and garner viewers, the documentary became not just a chronicle of a musical journey, but a flashpoint in ongoing debates about the intersection of art, politics, and public expectation. And for many, the incident served as a reminder that even the smallest moments in high-profile works can spark significant discussion, carrying implications far beyond their original intent. And as viewers continued to revisit the documentary, both to enjoy its music and to reassess the controversy, the debate over the Israel reference remained one of the most talked-about aspects of its release. And as more episodes were released and discussed, the series as a whole was both celebrated